Welcome back. I'm going to show you how to open up emergency drugs. Now, emergency drugs don't open like everything else on earth. So these are both fake epinephrines, and they've actually changed how they label your medicine. For years, we labeled it epinephrine. This is 1 milligram. This is one adult dose, and the concentration is 1 to 10,000, whereas the EpiPen is 1 to 1,000, and all 10 cc's are one adult dose. But now they're just labeling your medication 1 milligram or 0.1 milligrams per ml. So they're just slightly changing all medication, how it's labeled, but basically this is one adult dose. If it's a child under 40 kilos, it would be weight-based. Now, back to but it's the same exact box. So it doesn't matter if you're in an ACLS event or PALS event, this is your code drug. Patients cannot be alerted to any form of epinephrine. They can't be alerted to this form. They can't be alerted to an EpiPen. Inhaled epi we call racemic. Epinephrine is a naturally occurring hormone in our body. We used to label this adrenaline. Now we label it epinephrine. So it's a naturally occurring hormone, just like they can't be alerted to dopamine. So the only code drug left on earth they can't be alerted to. Isn't that amazing? This drug will start asystole. That's a miracle if you can start asystole. But this is the only code drug really left on earth. Now, emergency drugs, you just need a 1-minute in-service. First, they open up at the bottom. And I didn't notice that for like 15 years of critical care. So I get to the code and I'm looking for the thumb catch. There is no thumb catch. If you don't realize they open up at the bottom, you'll rip the box into millions of pieces. So 15 years of critical care, I finally read the box. I thought, oh, you gotta be kidding. I mean, even Pop-Tarts open at the top. Why they make it hard on us, I'll never know. But the drugs open at the bottom and they'll slide out. Now, later you can use your box. You have 2 pieces you have to build. Now there's 2 flat yellow caps. That's where you're gonna start out. Ignore the green and yellow cap. Start with the 2 flat yellow caps. Take your thumbs and flick those off. In a few twists, you've built me the only code drug left on earth. Now, this is gonna be built before it's ever requested. Once Epi comes out, you're gonna bring it out every 3 to 5 minutes. When I figured out how to open the box, I would use it. I would lay the drugs right on top of the box like this so I could readily identify it and hand it to the code. But it helped me keep count. It's sitting on the box, it hasn't gone anywhere. When I give this to the code, it'll end up in a sharps container in the room, so I won't get this back. Oh, that one's missing, I gave it. Oh, that one's right there, I must not have given it. Who's ever gonna hand over the drugs will keep their own count, but the box will help you keep count. Now, years ago, we didn't have lure lock or alligator clamp connective equipment yet. So when we talk about needles, we would use needles. So if I wanted to hang an IV piggyback, I would literally take a 20-gauge needle, put it through, and put a little piece of tape. I know it sounds crazy, but we did that for years. And then they were like, no, we gotta go needleless. So they finally evolved to lure lock. The problem with emergency drugs is, if I build them, I won't push them. I stand behind the code cart and hand drugs to my friends. And I learned never hand emergency drugs over like this. When emergency medication is new, the green sheath is very loose and the last yellow cap is very stiff. And so many times they've taken it out of my hand, pulled off the green thing, thrown it on the floor, and out comes a needle. But it hasn't occurred to them yet they have a needle. So they'll jab the needle into needleless tubing. And when they withdraw, they made a puncture hole in needleless tubing. So now the resuscitation fluid comes and squirts all over the floor. You might go to a code one day and you'll see fluid squirting out of a receptive line because that's what someone did. They accidentally stuck a needle into needleless tubing. Now we have a bunch of problems. The medication's in the tubing, but the tubing's leaking, so I have to throw away the tubing. To this day, I'm not sure if they got that dose. The other thing is, you're in a puddle. And ask an electrician, because I ask everyone, if I'm in a puddle and I have to press that button behind me and defibrillate, am I gonna defibrillate myself? And they all say yes. So we have big problems. So just realize, if you're the one building these drugs, you won't push them. Set your friends up for success. Before you hand these drugs over to them, you'll be wearing gloves, hold on to the green sheath, twist off the last yellow cap and say to them, it's all set for lure lock. They'll go, lure lock, I totally get it. But the last unnecessary complication is this locks into place and gets pulled out. So sometimes you'll go in and this will be still attached. It's still squirting all over the place. It just won't destroy the tubing. Show everyone you work with how to open emergency drugs. These seconds add up quickly, and this is truly the only emergency drug left on earth. But it won't matter which emergency drug you use. This is a fake dextrose. It still would open at the bottom, and I still have all those pieces I have to deal with. Show everyone you work with how to open emergency drugs. These seconds add up, and they add up quickly. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.